Okay, time for a thing that I hate. So today, I've seen a TikTok storm of viral videos about women complaining about men looking at them at the gym. This apparently is like a thing. Women claim to be, it used to be that in order to be victimized in American society, you actually had to be a victim. Now you're a victim if you go to the gym dressed in booty shorts and a bra and men give you sideways glances. That apparently is like the height of victimhood. I agree that women are victimized if some guy puts his hands on them when they don't want to have their hands put on them. Obviously. I'll agree that women are victimized if men, without regard for the woman, just stare at them or just stare for prolonged periods of time. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is attractive women on TikTok who are seeking attention, which is why they are on TikTok, filming themselves at the gym, wearing extraordinarily tight clothing and bare midriff, and then they are surprised that men are looking at them occasionally. Now, let's be real about this. This is how many dates in the United States and everywhere else have started. A man sees an attractive woman and he walks up to her and he asks her out. This is how most of human civilization was propagated, as it turns out. And the entire future of civilization rests on men and women getting together and making babies. You know how that usually is initiated? The same way it is throughout virtually all species. A male finds a female sexually attractive, and then he walks up to her, and then he says something. And the notion that the physical has nothing to do with anything, that we are a series of souls that kind of meet each other randomly in the universe, it's just silly. But here are some of these videos. By the way, the men in these videos are being now castigated as being gross and terrible. What is the... We'll go through this video. I want to watch it with you, and we're going to decide together whether the guy in the background, who this woman is now targeting, she says this is not how to approach girls at the gym. We'll see whether he does something truly egregious and wrong.
This is how to not approach girls at the gym.
I hate this.
Stupid bleeping behind me.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
I hate when there's weirdos. It gets me so uncomfortable.
Feral, like feral.
Feral?
There's mirrors everywhere, so it's like you can easily catch people. Act. Oh, this is nothing. Okay, we're gonna move on to the 35s now. I want you to watch very carefully.
Stare counter. Why is he staring so long? That is less than a second and a half. That one is not even a stare. That is a glance. This is what women mean by staring at her like a piece of meat. Why is he walking over? Oh no. He was walking over to offer to help her with her weight, and she says no, and he walks away. Oh, the victimization. Oh, the terribleness. Okay, so a couple of things. Yeah, I work out every single day. I'm just wondering why. It's not the only video like this, by the way. Here's another video like this. We'll go through another video like this. This is another woman. She takes off her shirt at the gym, and a guy looks at her. So let me just point this out to you. If a woman takes off her shirt anywhere in public, men will look at her. I'm sorry to break to you basic lizard brain biology. It's going to happen. I'll get into the actual scientific biology of this in just 1 second because it's very real. But here's another one of these videos. Again, men are bad because they look at women taking off their shirts. By the way, if you say that pornography is bad, you're also a prude. Anyway, here we go.
I stand up for myself. He threatens to call the police and revoke my membership.
So here she is taking off her shirt, and a guy looks at her. Oh no, in the mirror, there's a guy who's looking as a woman takes off her shirt. Unprecedented. And he says, oh damn, because a woman is taking off her shirt. And then she just stands there still taking off her shirt.
Do you need something? Okay, I thought so.
And she's going to yell at him. Do you need something? Okay, I thought so. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, lady.
I don't own the gym, I work here. Yes. And if you're getting rude, then you can leave.
That means what?
I can call the police and have you trespass right now. Would you like that?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead, let him know.
And by the way, normally we would call this lady, based on the race of the people involved, a Karen, would we not? Right? She's a young lady who does not seem to be of color, who is harassing a black man who didn't do anything particularly wrong. Other things that we should point out here. When women spray paint their asses and then wear bras and bare their midriffs in public, men are going to look at them. Again, hate to break this to you. That is the reality. As I say, I work out at the gym every single day. And there are women who come in and do not wear this sort of stuff. And guess what? They don't get stared at as much. I don't know how the patriarchy convinced women that the most efficient form of workout material was to essentially wear things that hug the body as closely as humanly possible and bear as much skin as possible. But the patriarchy has magic powers, apparently. It is not sexist to point out that men are going to look at scantily clad women in a different way. Again, look at the... Listen, I've made this case to my friend Allie Beth Stuckey, who's like, yeah, yoga pants are fine. Yeah, women can wear yoga pants, but don't be surprised when men stare at you because it hugs your ass. That's just the reality. And when I say stare, it doesn't mean the men should gawk at you. But if a man takes an occasional glance at the fact that you have a spray-painted ass, that is not a shock. That is not sexism. That is basic human biology. We'll get to that in just one second. First, let's talk about a simple fact. You will die. I know. Bad news. Didn't mean to break it to you this way. But we are all going to plot at some point. And that means that you need life insurance. Anyone who's a responsible human being needs life insurance. The simple fact is, if you've got a family and you plot, it's not just the funeral costs, it's your loss of income that's going to be a serious problem. And the life insurance that you get through your job probably is not going to cover what you need. Not only that, the more time you wait, the more expensive the life insurance is going to get. You get unhealthier, you get older, your life insurance premiums go up. Instead, head on over right now, like today, to Policy Genius. Policy Genius makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from top companies and find your very lowest price. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $17 per month for $500,000 in coverage. Policy Genius's licensed agents can help you find coverage options in as little as a week. There are no added fees. Your personal information is private. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net, and you deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Go to policygenius.com/Shapiro. Get the life insurance you need. It's just a thing you should do as a responsible human being. Policygenius.com/Shapiro and get that life insurance today. If you own a business, it's been a rough few years. I mean, from COVID, when the government may have forced you to shut down your business, to Bidenflation, to now the stagnation that's about to happen. If you gave too much money to the government in your taxes, why wouldn't you try to get some of that back? This is why you should go talk to the people over at Innovation Refunds. If your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. We're not talking about a loan. There's no payback. This is a refund on taxes you probably shouldn't have paid in the first place. The question is how to get your hands on that money. Well, you head on over to getrefunds.com. Their team of tax attorneys are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. They've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you as well. They do all the work, no charge up front. Simply share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, even those who had increases in sales. Just head on over to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, answer a few quick questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited amount of time. Don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. Again, getrefunds.com to get started. So you can get some of your money back from the government you shouldn't have given them in the first place. Getrefunds.com. My favorite part of American society is now the idea that men have to walk around like Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. They're going to walk around with like a blindfold on all day long. And oh my God, he glanced over at me despite me dressing like this. Yes. We all understand this, but then we have to pretend not to understand this so as not to be perceived as quote unquote sexist. It's not sexist, as it turns out, actually. You know what? I'm going to do the science right now. Okay, you want to know why this is not sexist? Quote. This is from Scientific American. Our brains see men as whole and women as parts. Evolution might underlie the different processing of female versus male bodies. Both genders do it. A glimpse at the magazine rack in any supermarket checkout line will tell you that women are frequently the focus of sexual objectification. Now, new research finds the brain actually processes images of women differently than those of men, contributing to that trend. Women are more likely to be picked apart by the human brain and seen as parts rather than as wholes. That is correct, according to research published online June 29th in the European Journal of Social Psychology. Men, on the other hand, are processed as a whole rather than the sum of their parts. Again, none of this is particularly shocking, considering that by evolutionary biological standards, men are going to be adjudicated based on their strength and their success rate for reproductive possibility, and women are generally predicted for reproductive possibility. I'm talking about in the animal kingdom, not even among human beings, for youth, fertility, beauty, right? These are all biologically based. The study author, Sarah Gervais, a psychologist at University of Nebraska, said, everyday ordinary women are being reduced to their sexual body parts. But she says, it's also that, like, that's just what people do. The researchers focused on 2 types of mental processing, global and local. Global processing is how the brain identifies objects as a whole. It tends to be used when recognizing people, where it's not just important to know the shape of the nose, for example, but also how the nose sits in relation to the eyes and the mouth. Local processing focuses more on the individual parts of an object. You might recognize a house by its door alone, for instance. You're less likely to recognize a person's arm without the benefit of seeing the rest of her body. If women are sexually objectified, people should process their bodies in a more local way, focusing on individual body parts like breasts. To test that idea, Gervais and her colleagues carried out 2 nearly identical experiments with a total of 227 undergraduate participants. Each person was shown non-sexualized photographs, each of either a young man or a young woman, 48 in total. After seeing each original full-body image, the participants saw 2 side-by-side photographs. One was the original image. The other was the original with a slight alteration to the chest or waist, because these are sexualized body parts. Participants had to pick which image they'd seen before. In some cases, the second set of photos zoomed in on the chest or waist only, asking participants to pick the body part they'd previously seen versus the one that had been altered. The results showed a clear schism between the images of men and women. When viewing female images, participants were better at recognizing individual parts than they were matching whole body photographs to the originals. The opposite was true for males. People were better at recognizing a dude as a whole than they were his individual parts. And it's both men and women doing this to women, so don't blame the men here, says Gervais. Why? Largely because, again, this is how men look at women. This does not mean that this is how men end up looking at women in a relationship. This is why relationships are supposed to be predicated not on sexual attractiveness. That is the original attraction. They are then supposed to be predicated on seeing the person as a whole. That is what happens over the course of, say, a marriage. This is why commitment matters in relationships, because ladies, bit of personal advice, men at the beginning are going to see you more as a collection of beauty and body parts than they are as a soul. And the more they get to know you, and the more you hold off on the physical components of the relationship, the more they're going to have to get to know the whole you and maybe commit to the whole you. When women complain that they're being treated as pieces of meat by men while going on one-night stands, the answer is, that's terrible that men are doing that to you. Also, of course that's true. Of course that's true. The longer you are with a person, the more of their soul you see, the more of the whole them you see. Women tend to be better at this with regard to men. But as it turns out, women actually do this with women also. Why? Because women compare themselves to other women. Simple fact of life, women dress for other women, for example. Women don't dress for men. They dress to impress other women. Anyway, we'll go back to this video where apparently it's very creepy if a person glances at you when you wear spray-painted ass clothes.
This creepy
stare,
old
glance.
guy at the gym kept coming over and staring at me. So I told my husband, and he came over and worked out next to me. Even after he came over, he continued to stare. I decided to stop working out and stare back. I attempted to do my set. Then I got fed up and went over and addressed him.
Okay, here she goes. She's going to go over and address this guy. Again, you saw in this video him for a grand total of like 3 seconds, maybe?
I told him if he's gonna work out in this corner, he needed to stop staring and making me uncomfortable.
Okay, so again, you are filming yourself at the gym to do this. And this has become a way of grabbing sort of victimhood, but a couple of quick solutions for all of this. Okay, one, you could theoretically have separate gyms. There are a lot of women in the Orthodox Jewish community who prefer to work out at separate gyms specifically to avoid this, right? They work out at female-only gyms, or males work out at male-only gyms. Another way to avoid this is presumably that you work out with a group of women. You could do that. There are many things that can be done. If this really bothers you, there are things that you can do to alleviate this problem. But pretending that men are not going to glance at you, or that can be alleviated by societally beating it out of them or by shaming them on TikTok, is ridiculous. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be getting into the mailbag. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click the link in the description and join us.